We've spent a long time caught in a polarity. On one side, gods. On the other, structure. On one side, consciousness as origin, intention, will. On the other, non-centralized systems, coherence, emergence, feedback loops that don't need a mind watching over them. For a long time we were told we had to choose. Either the universe is guided by consciousness, or consciousness is a late accident inside an indifferent universe. But that choice only exists inside a collapsed frame. When we look more carefully, something else appears. Human consciousness arrives late, very late. Stars form without it. Galaxies organize without it. Life evolves for billions of years without reflective awareness narrating the process. And yet, consciousness appears, not as an interruption, not as a violation of structure, but as something that grows out of it, which raises a quieter question. If human consciousness is late, that does not mean consciousness itself must be absent elsewhere. It only means our form of it is local, limited, particular. It may be that what we call consciousness scales, that there are forms of awareness that are not personal, not narrative, not interior in the way ours is. Not a God with a face, not a ruler, not an intention issuing commands, but something more like coordination, responsiveness, pattern that knows itself only through relation. In that sense, gods don't have to undermine evolution. They only do so when forced into rivalry. If God is used as a competing explanation, a replacement for process, then evolution becomes a threat. But if God is held as fiction, consciously, deliberately, then evolution becomes the method. God, then, is not a mechanism. God is a story consciousness tells about the whole. And evolution is how that story writes itself into matter, not as truth, as participation. Once fiction is released from the demand to be literally true, it becomes flexible again, safe again, creative again. Myth no longer needs to dominate. Science no longer needs to dethrone it. Consciousness no longer needs to crown itself as source. They can coexist as different ways of moving through an unfinished universe. And perhaps the reason the biggest questions refuse to settle, questions about origin, meaning, consciousness, God, is not because we are failing to answer them, but because they are not meant to be collapsed yet. Perhaps they behave more like wave functions than conclusions, structured possibility rather than final explanation. When we collapse them too early, they harden into dogma, into authority, into systems that must be defended. But when we allow them to remain open, they generate movement, inquiry, story, evolution. A universe that answered itself completely would have no need for gods, no need for myths, no need for artists, no need for philosophers, and no need for scientists. The fact that all of these still exist may be the clearest signal we have that the universe is not finished with itself, that it is still becoming, and that consciousness, whatever its ultimate scale, may not be here to close the questions, but to keep them alive in forms that change us, not to rule the universe, but to participate in its ongoing unfolding.